Hello, lovely friends. How is everyone? It's Samantha back here with another cute little video. Hopefully it's cute. I always say that, don't I? Hope everyone's all right. I've been fiddling around with some geometric shapes this week just because I felt like it. I was messing around with some wire and came up with, I know probably lots of people have made these, but I just thought I'd show you how I've made these today. Beautiful for bracelets and for necklaces. We're going to make this one today just because it's pretty gorgeous, isn't it? So I've been, like I said, faffing around with some wire, looking at making different sort of components for things. I'm turning this one into a necklace, which I will probably do a tutorial on if you fancy it. Let me know in the comments. But today we're going to concentrate on this guy here, and we'll just do a relatively quick video today, just so I'm not boring everybody. So let's have a look what we need to make this gorgeous bracelet. Okay, so let's have a look what we need. I'm using 1mm, that's 18 gauge copper wire. It's a really handy size to have in your collection because you can make all sorts of things out of this. I've got a big spool here, but this is dead soft, raw red copper. All right, so 18 gauge. 1mm. I will just shove that there because it's a big spool. What else do we need? We're going to need some flush cutters, as always. Oops, there we go, some flush cutters. And you're going to need your favourite tools. Like I say, I usually just come in with my regulars. Just have whatever you have to hand. You're going to need some flat nose pliers. These ones I'm using are specific to this size, but if you've got some flat nose, you can make these larger or smaller or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But if you're interested, these guys are a 4mm tip, okay, just in case you needed to know. And my very trusty 6-step bail making pliers, 2 to 9 increments on these guys here. But again, you can come in with your round nose if that's what you feel like. And what else? You're going to need a little bit of a measuring device, ruler, tape measure, whatever you fancy. And just for the to connect the stations together, then I'm using 4mm jump rings made from 1mm wire. I will do a very short video in isolation of how I make my jump rings. I know I've done it before in a previous video, but I think I'll make one just literally a minute or two long, just so you can have a look and see how I make mine. And the last thing you'll need, if you fancy giving things a bit of a bash, which I obviously did this week, you're going to need a really inexpensive bench block, tiny little thing I've got here, but it works well for me, and your choice of chasing hammer. Okay, so that's all you're going to need to make this cute geometric bracelet. Or like I say, you can use this pretty little component for earrings and necklaces and all sorts of things. Okay, so let me clear the table and we'll stop waffling and we'll go ahead and make that gorgeous bracelet. All right, so I'll see you in a few. So how is everyone? I hope you're all okay around the world. I know I've got quite a few people here from all parts of the world, which is absolutely amazing to me. And part of the reason why I love doing the videos on this channel is because it connects me with so many wonderful people around the world, and I'm loving that. So thank you for being here with me on this silly little faffing around channel. It's lovely to have you here. So this week has been a bit of a sort of a mindful, I've just literally picked up some wire and faffed around with it and come up with this component. I'm sure this has been done by other wire artists, of which I am not one. I'm just someone who sits at home and faffs around with things. But so I'll just show you how I've made mine this week. So I think these components would be really good for all sorts of things. You could use those, in earrings, sort of dangle a bracelet off the bottom. I love the fact that these are organic, and when we do the bashing and the hammering, it sort of spreads the wire in the direction that it wants to go itself, and I really like that. There's something quite nice about allowing the wire to do what it wants, if that makes sense. So they're not exactly exact, and I really like that. And obviously giving these a bit of a bash, it gives it some hardness and some stability as well. All right, so let's have a look what we need. So each one of these guys takes 15 centimeters of wire, which is just short of 6 inches for you guys who use inches. I'm using centimeters obviously, but it's fine to use inches because you do have a tiny bit of waste at the end, so it doesn't make an awful lot of difference. So let's just cut that wire off there. Okay, so we've got about 15 centimeters. All right, so you've got a flush cut edge, which is the edge in which we start, because we'll do the center first. Okay, so let's bring in our little flat nose pliers. These guys are a 4mm tip, so you know, if you wanted to make them exactly the same size as me, then you know, something along that kind of line would be good. Righty ho. So we put the wire right at the tip of the pliers like so. All right, so we're going to be making some angles here, so you know, be as precise as you can be. But like I say, these guys turn into quite organic shapes when you do the, you know, the hammering part of it. Again, excuse the picking of the finger. It's been a bit of a stressful week. So we bend around our plier like so. So we have this little angle here, and we're going to be doing that 9 times, okay? So place your plier back right at the tip if you can, okay? And then bend around like so. I did have a lovely subscriber say that they found my use of the word okay quite funny, so I hope it's not too annoying. It's either okay or all right. I think it's one of those sort of bridge words that we all use because we don't really know what else to say. Okay, so that's 1, 2 bends. Now when we come to the next one, we're going to be bringing the wire this way, but we want to have a little bit of a gap here in between, because if we do it right here, the wire is going to be touching this end bit here, and we don't want that. We want it to be we want to have a little bit of space. So bring your plier a couple of millimeters, or maybe just a millimeter. Let me show you with the ruler the end of it, so that it's got a tiny bit of space. Can you see that in between the end of the plier and the end of that wire here? Okay, so about here, and bend it so that when we bend it, we've got a little bit of a gap here. Can you see that there? Which is just what we're looking for. And then again, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then again, place it just at the end. That's number 4. So can you see by elongating this side, it leaves a little bit of a gap. And then again, so that's number 5. And then again, that's 6. So can you see? And again, it doesn't have to be exactly precise because these are organic shapes. And then again, number 7. And number 8. And then number 9. So can you see how we've bent these guys with some space in between? So you'll know what I mean when you get going yourself. Just leave a little, just take the tip of your plier. Can you see that? Just a little bit further than the edge of this one here, which will afford you the gap. All right, so we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bends, which will bring you to this point here. Oh, seagulls are out in force today. Hello, seagulls. Okay, so when we come to number 10, the 10th bend, we just want to bend it at an angle, like so. Don't bend it completely like the other ones, because we're going to be putting a little loop on it, like so, here. So this is when you come in with your pliers. I'm using the first step, which is 2mm on my 6-step plier, but feel free to obviously come in and use whatever plier you want. So there are 2 ways of doing this, to be honest. You can bring this parallel and mark on here the center point with a Sharpie, or you can be like me and fly by the seat of your pants and think, hey ho, I'm just going to wing it. I like to live dangerously. All right, so what we're going to do is kind of guess where the center point is, which for me, I'm going to think is around about here. And we need to bend this guy around like so, over the top, reset our pliers and bend it so that this is parallel with each other with a hoop in the middle. So we've got this here. And then we come back in and bend, and hopefully we've got it about right. So like I said, you can mark it with a Sharpie if you want it to be exact, but I think that's about right, don't you think? Yes, so the flying by the seat of my pants has worked this time. Live dangerously, I say. All right, so that's number 10. So we want another bend here. That's number 11. And a final bend here, which is number 12. All right, so this is what we have. So we've got our nice little square spiral, essentially, with our little loop at this side. All right, so we want to put a loop on this side here, don't we? Okay, so what we need to do is I put, again, using the first step, a little loop here, but we want it to be central, don't we? So what I tend to do at this point, what I have done this week, is again, come up with my ruler, my centimetre ruler, and find the middle point, which is about there, and cut where the 1 centimetre mark is. Now the reason I do that is because I know that to make a loop with the first step of my plier, I need just short of 1 centimetre. So with us needing it to be in the centre, it's 1 centimetre from the centre, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know, and I'm not sure what I can do about that, to be fair. All right, so the thing we need to do now is to replicate the little loop. Oh, it's getting caught up, isn't it? That's typical. Typical. Hang on. There we go. That's better. So we want to replicate this loop on this side. So I come in with the first step of my plier right at the very end of the wire and bend it round. And if you've measured things out correctly, it should be central. If you need to just straighten things up a little bit, then come in with your plier and do so, which I did there. And there's our little component. How cute is that? Okay, so all you need to do really is to make quite a few of those, enough for a necklace, enough for a bracelet, like so. And this is where I come in with my bench block. So, you know, give it a good hammer. Hang on. I won't do it all, obviously, because it's very discordant and very noisy. But if you give it a really nice tap of the hammer, including the loop here, and all it does basically is just squash the loop down a little bit, which is a nice effect too. So, and if you wanted to, you could come in with the ball peen side of your hammer and give it a little bit of more texture if you wanted to. I just think this guy is really, really pretty. Super effective. Don't you think? There you go. All right, so make a few of those and then we'll make the clasp to go with it. Now I made this one out of 16 gauge, but you can quite easily just make it with the 18 gauge. You come in with about 5 centimetres, 2 inches of wire. I'll just quickly show you how to do this. Just flush cut. 5 centimetres, give or take. Okay, and then you come in with your little chain nose pliers. This is just a simple S clasp, but I'll show you how to do it quickly here. bend over and squeege like so, and then do the same thing but in the opposite direction at the other side of the wire. So again, over and squeege. So we've got this, all right? So we've got a little loop on either side, but they go in opposite directions. Now I use the third step on my plier. Just give that a little bit of a squish down. So I've used the third just because I wanted a small, you know, a small clasp, but also the clasp on this needs to be flat, the same sort of flatness as the components, and I'll show you why in a second. So this, you know, these flat-sided clasps are the best ones. So just literally twist it round, the third step of your plier, or however, you know, if you want a bigger clasp, then, you know, go ahead and make a bigger clasp. I just think you only need a smallish clasp for this one. And that's what we have here. Simple, simple S clasp. Give it a tap, give it a hammer. All right, so here we are. So you just link each one together with a jump ring, which is 4mm made with 1mm wire, and a jump ring on either side. So when we're putting our bracelet on, I'll show you this way round. You'll know what I mean when I say that you need a flat clasp, because you're attaching your jump ring. Okay, I'll just do this off camera, just so we're not faffing around on the camera. There we go. Okay, so you can, you know, a flat clasp works nicely with the flat nature of the components. Isn't that sweet? So a little quick, sweet, little faffy video this week. So I hope you enjoy making these. Again, like I say, they're beautiful for all sorts of things, necklaces, bracelets, etc., earring components. And as I've said, I've been faffing around with some little different sort of forms of square spirals this week. So if you'd like me to show you the necklaces I've been making with these guys, then let me know in the comments and I will go ahead and make a quick tutorial on those as well. So enjoy making these, and I will see you in my next video. It's lovely, lovely, lovely to have you here as always, guys. If you want to join our happy group of beautiful people over in my private Facebook group, I will leave a link in the description. So happy making, and as my friend Linda says over on Gumnut Lane Jewellery, actually go and give her a follow. I will link her channel in my description box because she's amazing and she's such a sweet lady who deserves more subscribers. But as she says, go out and make something beautiful. Thanks, Linda. Bye, guys.